In truth, I cannot fail. My divine nature, the truth of who I am, is not simply a presence within me. It is the very essence of every cell in my body, every thought in my mind. A sense of failure in an undertaking is a fear-based thought in my mortal mind. It has no reality in spiritual truth. Whatever the appearance may be, there is always a lesson, a spiritual awareness that will support and encourage me as I make future choices. As long as I remember to claim the good in every choice I make, there can be no failure in my life experience. Today, I welcome every opportunity to make a creative choice that perfectly expresses my true spiritual self. And now we will have Carol singing for us. I am an instrument. Take it, Carol.
Thank you. Before we get started on this, though, I'd like to just mention that there's not one instrument actually on this whole piece. It's Daniel Nahmod singing. He's singing all the parts, all of the musicians' parts, and all of the harmony parts. Not at once, but he's singing it. So listen for that. It's so cool. Go ahead. Thank you. I am an instrument of the divine. Play with the symphony of sacred love. Could we start it over? It's one of those days. Yeah. There we go. It's going to be perfect. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. I am an instrument of the divine. I'm an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. Never again will I wander. Never again will I doubt. Suddenly I can see clearly. Love is what this life is about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. Never again will I wander. Never again will I doubt. Suddenly I can see clearly. Love is what this life is about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I am an instrument of the divine. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. I want to play in the symphony of sacred love. Woo.
right. I was just telling Marvin a few minutes ago as we were watching you and singing that line over and over about one power, which we obviously needed to hear several times in a row because we did. And there is, it's perfect start for me because there is one power. You were really emphasizing that. Thank you. The universe is letting us know who's in charge. Oh my. So this morning I get to talk to you about the inner divine marriage, right? Notice the emphasis is on the word inner divine marriage. Because most of us, when we think of marriage, we think about it being out there in the world. We go out and find the right man or woman who we then join up with and expect things to be roses from there on out. Right? How well has that worked for you? Right? Because the reality is that there is one power, and it is separated into two aspects. And this is the way creation is. There's nothing made in the world of form that does not have two aspects. And sometimes we refer to it in different ways, but today we're going to talk about it in terms of the masculine and the feminine, the dark and the light, the yin-yang, the one power of the circle divided into the two aspects of the dark and the light. And notice that the dark and the light, if you are familiar with this symbol, is that each one has a splash of the other in it. So the dark has the light and the light has the dark. Yeah? And there's a Sufi saying that says, dark, light, no difference. No difference. And so what we do, we come into a world where we buy into, where it's arranged so that we just are going to buy into this notion of separation from the oneness. Like, okay, can you imagine like a yin-yang circle? You've got that. Just imagine you give them life. How are you going to get those separate from one another? How are you going to separate that out from the circle? You have, it's sort of, we have both aspects where we might, but this is what we believe. We come in with this idea that I'm separated from. And I'm separated from what? I'm separated from the light, from the one power. And as soon as I began to believe that, I began to practice the art of we, they, me, you. And you become the opposite, and often the enemy, because you're doing something to me I don't like. If I'm unhappy as a separate being, it's going to be your fault. It's pretty clear to me. If you hadn't said such and such or done da-da-da, then I would be happy right now. Clearly. Duh. Ask anybody. Here, let's call a few people. I've got a list of who's on my side. And this is what we do. We sort of begin to segregate into piles of right, wrong, the good pile, the bad pile, the accepted pile, the unaccepted pile, right? And so we've got this dark and this light. And when we talk about the inner marriage, we're talking about the integration of those two aspects of us. And one of the things, there's a divine reflection here that says this. Where was that? Let me find that quote. Divine love does not, no. Divine marriage is the union of internal duality. William Blake it said, I am in you and you are in me, mutual in divine love. And this is really where we are on our planet right now. If you look around, everything is segregated, it's polarized. One of the laws, universal laws, is the law of polarity. So we come in to buy this idea of separation as a way to divide these aspects within ourselves and play them out in the world against one another. You know, where it's like pushing against the other polarity of, oh, me. Do you know one of the things I've discovered in my journey is this in relationship, and I've had lots of relationship of all kinds, of all kinds. And and I'll tell you this, every single one of them, when it came to time for resistance or a problem I had with them, when I began to understand, go back into the law of oneness, that is we're all one, and that is me, having a relationship with me, being given the opportunity to see what it is I do to me, because whatever it is I do to me, I project onto you, right? And then we can have a dance, and you will do the thing to me that I'm just so sure people do, because I do it to me. I reject me and tell me I'm not good enough, or that I'm not lovable enough, or that no one would want to be around me, and then I began to play the part of being someone who deserves to be left, and then I blame you for leaving me. So this is what we do. Because remember, when we believe it, we feel the feelings that go with it. And then we act the part. And this is actually the different parts, the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us. I had a dream when I first signed on to do this particular talk about the divine marriage. I had a dream that night. And in the dream, I was in a group of people, like a healing group, like a retreat group. And I was one of the people sitting in the circle. And this woman came in, and she was stunning, striking, tall, beautiful hair pulled back into a bun, elegant, graceful, free-flowing, bothered by other people's idea about her. You could tell she was confident, and it was like I could not take my eyes off of her. And sure enough, she walked into the center of the circle and sat down. And suddenly in my dream, she was naked. And I looked, and this was not disturbing or perturbing to me in the dream. It was like, oh, she's naked, okay. And so I'm looking at her beauty still. She's just effervescent. And we get down to her nether parts, and she has a penis. She has a penis. And in my dream, this was not aberrant. It wasn't weird. It wasn't like, what the heck? You know, it was clearly natural and beautiful. And it was just, she's both, is the thought I had. Okay, divine marriage. Union of the opposites. And so I was being shown, I realized that when I woke up, that I was being shown my own androgyne. And this is a process. This is really, frankly, what the sacred journey is about. The journey of expansion, the journey you're going to be learning about with me in a little while. When you come back, bring your tarot deck if you have one, Rider-Waite preferably. But we're going to talk about the journey of this integration from duality to unity, unity in diversity, the yin-yang, and the marriage of these aspects in me. So who are these aspects in me, the feminine and the masculine? It's interesting, we lived through the 1900s, right, all the way up to 1999, and we were very much being governed by the masculine principle, because the number one is the masculine principle. So you've got 1, 9, blah, 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 or 1, 8, or 170, or, whatever. And then we moved into what? To the year 2000. The feminine. The feminine is the 2. And so we come into the feminine in our own world, and everything begins to shift. Can you feel it? The power shifting to the feminine. Yeah. And remember, we may have masculine and feminine, but we also have shadow of both. Remember that little dot of the other. So the dark has the light. In our work, we say if you go far enough into the darkness, you will find the light. If you go far enough into the light, you will find darkness. It's both and. It's not an either or. It's not either I'm good, I'm male, and that's the way I should be, or I'm female, and this is what. We have these stereotypes about what that means and who that is. When in reality, we're talking about the two halves of the whole. We're talking about an integration between these two parts of ourselves. We're talking about a marriage. And a marriage looks like both the masculine. Let's just talk about some of the characteristics. I made a list here. Let me refer to it as I just talk a little bit about the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is the yin in the yin yang. She's the yin. Oh, that's the dark. She's the mystery. She's the mysterious. She's the intuitive one, and she's really hard to figure out in the logos. The intellect just can't, it's like, they're like oil and water, these two, masculine and feminine, because the masculine is the yang. The masculine is the light. That doesn't mean better, it means brighter. But it also is, there's a relational pattern or a relational dynamic that is supposed to happen between these two, between the shadow, feminine, who is the womb. That is where all things are created, in the womb of the universe, and in us. So tapping into that feminine is how we remember where we've been, what we have been, and because energy, which is what we are, is eternal, never dies, can't, only changes form. I always use that analogy of the salt crystals in my palm, and there they are. They're clearly salt. You can see it there. Now move it in, pour it into warm water, stir it around. It's gone. It's dead. It's dissolved. It's gone. Oh, wait. Let me tell you. Oh, wait. It's still there. Never goes away. Just changes form. And this is the way we are. We change form. We do not, this physical form, which is the body is associated with the feminine. It's the vessel that holds life. And in that way, the feminine is receptive. It's the ability to let go when you need to. Is this thing acting up? Yeah. Yeah, and so the feminine is that which is life, that it's the vessel that holds life, that makes life possible. The masculine is the penetrating life energy. It's the sperm of the universe. It's that which impregnates the feminine. Right, and so you've got the vessel, and then you've got the penetrating force. Oh, wonder if that could be why we tend to think of God as the he. And there's a lot of us that go, I know, I'm a feminist, and I don't, well, when you begin to think of it as the penetrating force, and that you in this body are the vessel that is filled by that, what's wrong with that? And then when I'm in my penetrating force, like now, where I'm pouring this to you, and it's up to you. Are you in your feminine? Are you receiving it? Can you allow it? Or do you need to resist it? Right? Because I know what's right. Right? Yeah, and y'all may know people like this. I know this has nothing to do with any of you. None of you would ever resist, and all know how to surrender and allow, right? That's a feminine trait. It's the part of the feminine. So we're learning how to embrace, to allow, to surrender, to receive. And as one of the things that happened in the last century, the one that started with the 1900s or the 1000s, or the long time we've been ruled by the masculine. Now suddenly we've come into the feminine, the 2000 cycle. And so the feminine is coming in. And one of the things that we tend to do when we're in one or the other opposite, that we're in polarity, is we make the other one into the bad guy. Now, are we going to do that to the masculine? Yeah. Can you see it? Bashing, male bashing all over the place. Yeah. Because now we've decided the feminine is right, and that's what you pay attention to, and that's what you express and do right. So now the masculine, yeah, you know what? A marriage between these two. And what we get to do on this planet is notice where it is that we are, out of alignment with, and where are we out of alignment? And this is what life is all about. This is what earth life is all about. Because earth life is where we come and we express the energy of source, which is pure light pouring in through this vessel. But you know what? We got a program in the way. We got a lens that is created by and made possible through the story that we've bought about who we are and what we can't have and what, that. And so that energy gets projected out into the world and shows up in my relationships and in my life situations. It will show up and show me where it is I am out of alignment with me. And that's what I mean. If you've been around me any period of time, you know I say this a lot. What if there was no problem? What if it's all process? What if it's taking us somewhere, even when we're in resistance, especially when we're in resistance? Thank you very much, resistance, because you're showing me how it is I'm pushing against me in me. Right? And so what we begin to do, as I begin to bring these two parts, the part of me that thinks I need to be somewhere else, something else, doing something different or better, or it shouldn't be this way. That's what the ego, and the ego is that sort of that shadowy logos, that shadowy belief system that we take on, that becomes, and so now all the power that ever was is filtering through that, and always just the choice we're given is how we will see the world, not necessarily what the world's doing, but how we see it. And when I see it as a problem, when I see it as, this shouldn't be happening, then I go into resistance, and it's going to show up here. And this is me being shown where it is in me that I'm asking to balance and being asked to balance and refine, so that I can more and more claim both and. See, what we're doing in this world right now, they're as chaotic as things are, as much out there that shouldn't be the way it is as we believe there is, and getting more of it all the time, and we're just getting more and more caught up in the resistance of it shouldn't be this way. But you know what? It should be the way it is. Do you know why? Because its function is to show us where we're out of alignment with the masculine, feminine within us, where we're not on our journey of remembering the pure light from which we come. And our relationships are great teachers for that. And it's important that we remember that the first marriage happens within us, but the true marriage, that's where the true marriage happens. Once a true marriage happens internally, then what happens is we begin to attract to us, or we will attract to us, that which reflects that balance, the balance between both and. It's rather than either or. It's either that or that. This is the old pattern. This is the old dynamic that we've been operating out of for a long time. Now we're moving into, like my dream. Both and. No problem. No difference. It's for me. So I want to support you in this, because it's critical in beginning to really love me. And it's so necessary that I love me in my shadow and all the places of me where I get caught up in resistance, because resistance and shadow is showing me what it is that I'm being given the opportunity to bless, to accept, to receive as a teacher, and to integrate as always, always, always having a purpose. Nothing. It all serves. No matter what it is, it all serves. And when we can get there, return to that place again and again and again, because we will. I don't know about you, but I can jump in shadow, jump in, my story about how things should be or shouldn't be, or especially how you should be. Just ask me. I know exactly. I'll even help you, but, letting you know where it is you're out of, right? And so, but every time I come back to remembering, oh, that's me. Oh, where do I do that? Oh, yeah. Oh, can I love that? Can I love me right there? What if I gave me permission to have that? Wow. That's what I would hope and wish for you. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you today. Mwah. Come. Uh-oh.
Thank you, Lynne, so much for that. To be centered in that oneness, to have that true understanding of that inner marriage. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now it's time for our love offering and our tithes. I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward. And just let us affirm together. I invite you to take your love offering in your hands. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have and all I give and all that I receive. Let us also be aware that making a tithe or a love offering is not just making a donation, but it's making a difference. And so it is. Amen. And now we'll have Carol and Daniel singing, "My Soul is Welcome."
Carol and a good fellow.
Yeah, very good fellow.
And we use that term loosely. I'm my divine feminine showing, sorry.
Both.
Both, yeah, here we are. Ladies, let's sing. Let's do it.
Do a little clapping if you want.
Carol on the air guitar.
I gotta get one.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah. All right. Carol on the electric guitar, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we hope you take this love and light and energy and shine it on the world out there, because God knows they need it. We love you. See you next week. Bye.
Daniel. Woo.
Bad.